What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video on the Texas Rangers Report. And if this is your first time watching the Texas Rangers Report, make sure to subscribe right now because I'm your #1 source for all things Texas Rangers on YouTube. And also make sure to check out the Discord in the description down below. So obviously right now we're still in the middle of a lockout. The owners and the Players Association just aren't seeing eye to eye on different topics. They've gotten closer on the double, or like they've gotten closer on the CBT, but now they're getting slowed down by the international draft. Do I still think there's going to be a season this year? Yes. Do I think it's going to be a shortened season? Yes. So I just feel like it doesn't make sense to talk about like proposed trades for Matt Olson or free agent signings right now, because who knows when the season's going to start. So I think minor league content right now makes a lot of sense because that season starts in roughly about a month. So this video is going to be about the memorable 2020 MLB Draft class for the Texas Rangers. And this was in the COVID season when they shortened the draft from 40 rounds all the way to 5. So getting decent prospects out of a small draft is kind of difficult, but the Rangers draft is looking really good. And at the time I'm like, what are the Rangers doing? Because I didn't really know any of the prospects, and the Rangers were really scrutinized at the time. So obviously in the first round we took second baseman Justin Foscue. I didn't really like this pick because there was pitchers on the board. Most notably for me, there was Cade Cavalli, there was outfielder Garrett Wilson, who the Brewers took, and Cade Cavalli's doing well. My biggest thing was that second base isn't really the biggest position of need in baseball. There's shortstop, that's a big position of need. Outfield, that's a big position. You always need pitchers, and Cade Cavalli's doing great, but Justin Foscue has been raking ever since he's been in the Rangers farm system. He broke out last year in single A, and now he's a top 100 prospect according to MLB.com. And honestly, with how good the Rangers farm system is, he might be a trade piece for a guy like Matt Olson, for a guy like Luis Castillo, because we have Corey Seager, we have Marcus Semien. He has said he's been working on third base in minor league spring training, but we'll just see how that goes. And I'm glad I was wrong about this pick in Justin Foscue. If he doesn't get traded, he will most likely start the season at AA. That's where he ended the season last year. In the second round, we took outfielder Evan Carter from Elizabethan High School. And by the way, the rest of these picks were all high schoolers. So this was the most head-scratching move because nobody really knew who he was. Whenever you're looking at the draft boards, I think he was ranked 500th at the time, so not really worthy of a second-round pick. And I remember Cole Wilcox was on the board. I was like, that could be a nice pick. He can move through the system really fast. I think he got drafted by the Padres, or he got traded to the Padres. But he took Evan Carter. Really head-scratching, but he was doing great in single A last year before he had a stress fracture in his shin. He walked more than he struck out. He looks like he could be a 5-tool player at the next level. He still needs to tap into his power, but obviously things got slowed down with his injury. So I'm excited to see what he could do going into next minor league season. In the third round, we took Tekoah Roby, another high schooler. This one wasn't as head-scratching. This guy had some notoriety, but now he is impressing a lot of people, not just in the Rangers farm system, but around the league as well. And I talked about him in my last video about some of the most the players with the most upside in the Rangers farm system. I think this could be one of the guys with the most upside in the Rangers farm system. A high schooler, and his stock was rising going into the COVID season. I'm not sure how many games he got in before his season got shut down, but who knows, maybe he could have gone from a third rounder to a second rounder, or instead of a third rounder, maybe a first rounder, and then he'd be viewed in a totally different manner if he was a first rounder. So his fastball has topped at 97 miles an hour. His spin rate was 2,500 RPMs, and his curveball at 2,900 RPM, so that's pretty nasty. Obviously, you don't need high spin rate to be really good, but those are pretty nice metrics. I'm sure he'll start in single A, high single A, maybe low single A. We don't really need to rush him, but he was doing really good before he got injured last year. In the 4th round, we drafted Mclean. He hasn't really impressed at all so far. He is still young. All these guys are still young besides Justin Foscue, so we still need to give him time. I'm sure he'll start out at low single A or maybe just Arizona Fall League. We'll have to see about Mclean. I'm not sure how much he's really advanced in his overall game, but when we drafted him, he's 6'3", 190, so he's projectable. Doesn't really throw fast, but I think the Rangers just took him as a flyer, so we'll have to see how he progresses. And lastly, in the 5th round, the Texas Rangers drafted shortstop Thomas Saggese. And once you get past like the 3rd round, you're really just taking flyers. And even with the track record in the 1st round, those guys are flyers as well. But Thomas Saggese played really well at Down East last year. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he jumps into the Rangers' top 30 prospect ranking, and I wouldn't be surprised if he started high single A next year. I'm not sure if there's a tool that really stands out to me at this time frame, but he's still young. He still has room to grow, and he's really impressed. I'm not sure how many home runs he had last year, but he hit for a high average. I'm pretty sure he's a solid defensive shortstop. So as it looks right now in the 5-round draft in 2020, I think the Rangers so far have 4 solid prospects coming out of that draft, and not even to mention some of the other guys they have traded for out of the 2020 MLB Draft. But let me know what you think in the comments section down below. Obviously, we have our top 100 prospect in Justin Foscue, but who else are you super excited about from the 2020 MLB Draft? You think Mclean can change his status and get up in the farm system rankings? Do you think Justin Foscue will get traded? And do you think somebody like Tekoah Roby will be a future ace for the Rangers? Let me know what you think in the comments section down below. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.